All right, today I'm going to talk about the repercussions of a seemingly benign, innocuous field, a computer field, and how this little field here is going to be the cause of a lot of chaos, a lot of stress. Unfortunately, people, worrying about whether they're going to be able to pay the rent, pay their electricity, get their benefits. So I'm going to talk about that today, and we'll talk about exactly why this is happening, and particularly those who are most at risk. I've just kind of um, popped up a few examples based on my decades of working inside the Social Security Administration. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country, and now in my semi-retirement, I'm helping people make sure they get all the benefits they earned and need in retirement, disability, survivor, spouse benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, and all the rest of it. It's going to be a tough job going forward, but I do this live. If you're watching this in a recording later, make sure you subscribe, come back, bring your friends and family, and I'll help you navigate what's left of the bureaucracy as much as possible. So yeah, this is it's a strange world out there. Okay, so the president last night talked to the State of the Union, didn't really talk about Social Security very much, said he's going to end taxes on Social Security, Social Security benefits. Perfect. I never thought there should be, most of the people that watch this channel never thought there should be taxes on Social Security, get double tax. Okay, perfect. That's obviously, it's going to put a strain on Social Security, the trust fund, because the trust fund is partly funded by those taxes. So in 2023, the new numbers for 2024 aren't out yet, but 1.1 trillion came in through FICA taxes. And also part of that was taxes on Social Security benefits. About 50% of people don't pay taxes on their Social Security benefits if that's essentially all they have, all they're receiving. But if you're making a lot more money or other places, you are paying taxes, and that accounts for about $50 billion coming in. And when that's gone, that's going to be another 50 billion hole in the trust fund that needs to be figured, and then 63 billion on interest. So there's this much coming in every year and that much going out. And what's covering the difference? The trust fund. So a lot of people think the trust fund is just fake money, and it's not true. And it's monopoly money. It was all stolen, and whatever the case may be. And I always recommend to those people, about 7, 8, 9% of your check comes from the trust fund. So if you think it's fake money, please take 7, 8, 9% of your Social Security check down to the local animal shelter, homeless shelter, and give it away because they don't think it is fake money. They would be more than happy to get it. Okay. So he talked about the taxes on Social Security. Awesome. Good. And then he repeated what Elon Musk talked about was this. The date of death field in the pneumodent. And I'm going to try to get through this as soon as possible so I can get into live Q&A questions. I've got tons of questions. People are worrying about their benefits, what's going to happen. So I'm going to try to help as many people as possible through the live Q&A. But so he talked about, again, repeated Elon Musk about all these millions, 20 million people to 11 million people, 21 million people receiving Social Security benefits that are over 112 years old or whatever the case may be. That's been proven incorrect several times. And actually, it's interesting timing. The acting commissioner of Social Security, which is a DOGE guy, which is appointed by President Trump, just came in with a press release today that came out early today that said, yeah, boss, not so much. And highlighting the inconsistencies of Social Security has known about these for a long time. And the agency, as it says, has followed a long established program to make sure these people are not receiving benefits. Has their Social Security number been closed out? No. And we'll talk about why that's not really relevant here in a second. But Social Security has had these long established program. When I ran my Social Security office, we used to do the same type of thing. How do you catch people that are deceased that are receiving Social Security? There's a bunch of ways. One of the ways is Medicare responds to Social Security and say, hey, this person hasn't gone to the doctor for a couple of years. Maybe this person is deceased. And then Social Security will shut down the record. And if they send out a letter and it's not returned, then they shut down the payment. They shut down the payment. And we used to have this project, so it's not sure, well, it's probably going to end now, so it's going to make everything worse. It's called the Centenarian Project. And the Centenarian Project was anybody that was 100 years old or reached 100 years old in our district, and this is throughout the country. We used to send a person, one of the Social Security employees out there. I used to print off a nice little, certificate. Congratulations on reaching 100 years old. It was, it was nice. PR type thing. But the other purpose was to go out there and make sure that person was still out there alive and kicking. So we used to go out there and monitor everybody in our district, and every office in the country monitored the district to make sure people that were over 100 years old were actually out there, and not, I'm sure you've heard all the stories. But what we have here, so this has been a long-standing thing, but the problem is this little entry right there in the computer that's causing all this problems, which is going to make your life or the life of your loved ones or someone in your community or your friends, it's going to cause enormous amount of difficulty and stress. And it's kind of like I try to think of something. It's kind of like the space shuttle Challenger, which brought the space shuttle. It was delayed, and it obviously brought down the shuttle, killed those people, the astronauts. What was the cause of it? Little O-ring. It wasn't that big. It was a little bit bigger than a regular O-ring, but it was an O-ring. One small little thing brought down the space shuttle Challenger. And what is bringing down essentially Social Security now? Unfortunately, this little blank date of death. So when you file, when you get a new Social Security card, this is what you get. So everybody out there has one of these. It's called a numadent. That's when you get your Social Security card. So it has your name, has your Social Security number, has your date of birth, has where you were born, has your mother's maiden name, your mother's maiden name including the maiden name, has your father's name, and that's it. When you pass away, it also includes the date of death. But let's say Richard Turner here, born in Paris, Texas, and he decides he wants to go see the real Eiffel Tower, not the one with the cowboy hat. Yes, Paris, Texas does have a Eiffel Tower with a cowboy hat on it. Highly recommend once in your life, go visit it. But anyway, he decides to go visit the real Eiffel Tower in France. He decides to become an expat and moves to France. And then he passes away there. Social Security does not get the death certificate. His payment has long since stopped. Anybody that lives overseas knows that you have to provide a form once a year. It's called the proof of life form. So if you're living overseas, then you have to, Social Security sends you a letter and you have to respond. If you don't respond, they stop your benefits. So if you don't respond, your benefits are stopped. But because Social Security doesn't have a death certificate, they can't fill in this form, that little blank date of death entry there. They can't fill that in. So if Social Security doesn't have a death certificate, if someone is missing, then they can't fill it in. If someone, was it Amelia Earhart, or she got a death, she was missing, so she might be that 300-year-old person. And Richard Turner here, maybe Richard Turner got his Social Security number in 1975 on the old system. And, remember the old IBM Selectric with a little ball on it? So the Social Security office was typing up the Social Security card, which they used to do in each of the offices. And the person that typed it up actually typed in, instead of the date of birth being 1945, it's actually or they accidentally typed in 1925 or 1915 or 1905 or something like that. And Richard Turner, he never really worked. He's been a shade tree mechanic all his life, or, moved to wherever the case. So it looks like he might be that 150-year-old person. It's just an incorrect record. Since they become digitized and everything, it's been improved and stuff. But Social Security can't fill in that date of death. That's it. They can stop the payments. Obviously, they've stopped the payments on all these people. The commissioner of Social Security in today's press release says, yeah, these people aren't getting paid. But this little entry right there is causing this. This is the reason people are going to suffer. That little date of death, blank entry, is because is Elon Musk is using it to say, hey, Social Security is, they're the biggest fraud in history. They don't know what they're doing, so we need to shut it down and fire a whole bunch of people, which they have essentially let go, reassigned, fired, early retirement, whatever the case may be, 7,000 plus. I've seen a lot of people said, yeah, they're just going to jump ship because of that date of death. And you say, well, just fill in the date of death. Well, Social Security has been requesting that forever. They can't falsify records. What date do they put in there from the person? Could they go to Paris, France, and investigate and spend $100,000 to send a team over to France or Thailand or the Philippines, or some guys got missing in action, but MIA in Vietnam or something like that? So we should send out a team of investigators throughout the world to get a death certificate so we can validly put that in the date of death. If Social Security had done that, which they said, hey, we can do that, politicians and the Government Accountability Office and the Office of Inspector General said, y'all need to clean up that record. And Social Security said, yeah, we know. We can't falsify the record. And in order to get the death certificate, it's going to cost millions and millions of dollars. And these people aren't in pay. It's just this field isn't filled out. Do you want us to spend $100 million to go out there and fill out, get the death certificates on all these? Or this is the game that they've been playing with the politicians. Or politicians, Congress, you guys, I don't know if you've read the Constitution, but you're the guys that make the laws. You could order us, you can make a law, a provision that says, okay, if you're pretty much certain that, this person is deceased, just go ahead and just make up a fake, date of death, 1/1/2000. Okay. All right. As long as we have authorization, we can go ahead and put it in there. But this guy, might actually be out there, and you hear every now and then about Social Security, incorrectly, terminating people's records, and they have to go, go to get the mortgage and their bank account is closed and stuff. So, Richard Turner might actually be out there. He just, never decided to play with Social Security. So that's going to cause a lot of trouble. And politicians never really wanted to do this because they love playing the dance. They have been dancing this dance for decades. It's basically, well, yeah, if y'all clean up your records, it'd be a lot better. But then I don't have that club to beat y'all with. And I like beating y'all every now and then because we want to give, Social Security to Wall Street and our buddies, and so they can invest it so we can get all those kickbacks and stuff. So yeah, if y'all, if we give y'all enough resources to be really, really good and, close out stuff like this, then yeah, we can't use this as a club to beat you every now and then. And so, no, we're not going to do it. We're just going to let it, just be an issue. And every few years, they've been bringing this up since 2015, Google, they've been bringing this up for years, and they brought it up again. And so that one little field there, the date of death, either spend tens of millions of dollars getting the actual date of death put in there, or get Congress to make a law so, Social Security can do something else. But nothing has happened. And Social Security, well, these people aren't in pay. We're not losing money because you get paid from another record. You don't get paid from this numinent. Everybody out there has, if you have a 1-year-old child, your child, if they have a Social Security number, if they should have a Social Security number, you're about to file taxes, make sure you get your Social Security number for your children. But your child has a numinant, but they don't have an MBR, a master beneficiary record. That's where you get the money from, is the MBR. And those, if you're 112 years old, that's a suspense. That's not being paid. That's terminated. But this one, no date of death, so can't do anything about it. So I have a numinant, but I don't have an MBR because I'm not in pay. So that's the situation. And let's talk about, unfortunately, the people that are going to get hurt. And there's going to be a lot of people that get hurt here. So let's go. So if you know anybody in these situations, prepare them. The commissioner, the old commissioner that just went out, went on TV and he says, people should start saving. And he was attacked for that. It's not doom and gloom. It's not that bad and everything. And for most people, it won't be. But for a lot of people, it will be. And I want to give you some examples. These are just I could come up with probably 100 more. If you're currently receiving Social Security benefits and you're about to file and you file online for Social Security benefits, you better make sure your information is correct, like your data, your direct deposit, your routing number and account number. So if you go in there and file for retirement benefits or Medicare or spouse benefits or anything like that, you better make sure everything is perfect. If something ain't right, if you accidentally, transpose your number on your direct deposit or something like that, yeah, good luck trying to get a Social Security employee to correct that, because they're not going to be there. Particularly the people that are really going to be hurt are those in small offices. We've already got reports today of offices, and I think it was in Alabama, being closed. And even the offices that are not closed, these layoffs, firings, forced retirements, voluntary retirements, whatever you want to call them, those are usually people the most, kind of that has that institutional knowledge that, Social Security policy is over 20,000 pages. They are the ones in that particular office that everybody always went to for, difficult cases and, different policy and stuff like that. They're effectively, leaving. So we're just going to get a bunch of, just people that, not so great. The people that are, really, really good and get a jobs other places, they're gone. So we're going to be left with, so if you've got a small office, even if the office stays open, you might, it had like 5 employees or something like that, and you're, small little town like Paris, Texas or something, 10 employees, you might lose 5 of those employees, and the people that are left over, don't really know some of the stuff, because, there's a lot of specialties. You've got people that do Title II of the Social Security Act, retirement, survivor benefits, SSDI, and then you've got another component of the Social Security offices that do SSI. They're called Title 16 CSs. And then you've got the regular, CSRs, the customer service representatives. So there is no rhyme and reason in who's leaving the agency, who's being, forcibly kind of, or voluntarily or whatever, getting rid of. So it could be, in a particular office, the only people left are people that, take care of people on supplemental security income, the welfare-based program. All the people that do retirement and disability and survivor benefits, they might have, bailed ship, jumped ship. So if you get your account or something like that, you get an eviction notice, and you need, we used to get this every now and then, or several times a week. People didn't get their check or their paper check or something like that. Some people, particularly homeless people, whatever, they can't set up a bank account, so they have to get a paper check. And if they don't get their paper check, they might be evicted from where they are. They might lose their electricity. And they used to come down to the Social Security office and get an immediate payment out of the office. Well, that's unfortunately, that's not going to be there. If you are, if you refused Part B of Medicare at 65 and you want to sign up for it later during your special enrollment period, you have to go down and get your 40B and the 564, get those forms filled out by your employer, confirming all that stuff. And then, good luck getting your Medicare started on time. If you're, work down, if you know 2 or 3 months in advance that you're going to be losing your health insurance, then you might be okay. But if your employer, just shuts down, or go bankrupt, or, you get sick or something like that, and you have to quit immediately, then you just might not have, health insurance for a month, 2 months, or 3 months. If you pass away and your survivor needs to go in there and, get benefits, you were receiving retirement benefits, you pass away, Social Security, is really quick about that. If you pass away in the United States, then Social Security has an arrangement with, coroner's office and, vital records in all the states. So they notify Social Security of the passing. Social Security notifies Department of Treasury. Department of Treasury goes in there, stops the record, terminates. We terminate the Social Security Administration terminates the record, and they pull that check out there if the person was entitled to that benefit. So if you pass away and you're receiving benefits, and your survivor and your children are dependent on those benefits, and they need to go in there and collect, and get those benefits started, they might have to have some savings for a few months until they can get an appointment and, get in there. The children under the age of 18 can get survivor benefits. Children that became disabled before the age of 22 get survivor benefits. But might have to wait a month or 2 months, 3 months without any other income coming in. If you're waiting for disability, I'm not. Yeah, wow. When I was taking disability claims, we used to tell people, 3 to 6 months, you should get a decision back on your disability claim. Now they've been said that, well, up until last week or 2 weeks ago, they've been saying 6 to 9 months to get your, disability decision. Yeah. If there's even anybody there, because they're, yeah. Anyway, if you are early retirement or disability or survivor benefits, and you need to do a work report to notify Social Security that you're going over the annual earnings limit, yeah, might not be processed, and then you'll get an overpayment, and then yeah, all kinds of issues with that. If you're receiving Social Security benefits and someone grabs your Social Security number and starts working under your Social Security number, and you need to go in there and correct, you have a gap in your earnings record that you need to address. Yeah. All because of that. That's the O-ring of Social Security. The date of death field is blank for some people. So, all right. Let's see what we can do to help people get the benefits they need. And don't forget to, my sponsor for this live Q&A is Chapter Medicare. So if you need help with, this is Medicare Advantage season, but anyway, give them a call if you need help. I live only on my Social Security and I am disabled and live in HUD housing for disabled elderly people. Am I one who is about to be homeless and without money? I certainly hope not. If everything works out perfectly, and if you change your address, you have to notify Social Security. Hopefully, you got direct deposit. If you need to change your direct deposit, there might be something going on there. You're disabled, so you might get a CDR. They're definitely talking about increasing CDRs, the continuing disability reviews, and if those aren't processed, then there might be. Yeah, because they're gonna start doing CDRs, the continuing disability reviews, but there's nobody to process those CDRs. So I'm not sure what the I've talked about if you don't know about Social Security disability, every now and then, every 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, depending on your disability, Social Security does a continuing disability review where they send you a packet and they review your disability and make sure you're still actually disabled under Social Security guidelines. I did a video on this about 3 or 4 days ago on how to protect your disability and fill out that CDR correctly. But that was before the massive cuts. So we might have to, yeah. Yeah. If I move out of country, can I still collect Social Security? Yes, absolutely. Except for SSI, Supplemental Security Income. That's the welfare-based program. But anything else, retirement, survivor benefits, SSDI, yes, you can live out of the country everywhere except for North Korea and Cuba. So if you were going to enjoy the beautiful beaches in North Korea, sorry. But you just have to notify Social Security that you're going to be moving out of the country. And as I said, once a year, you will receive that letter, proof of life form. And if you don't return it, your benefits will be terminated. And your benefits will be terminated, but your Social Security number will not, unless Social Security gets an actual date of death. So you'll be one of the 20 million that is causing trouble for everybody else. If what you said is true, someone has to go on CNN and Fox and let the nation know. Otherwise, we hold what Trump said. Yeah, the commissioner of Social Security did exactly that, and he was pretty much attacked for fear mongering. So that's how I wanted to kind of add specific examples. So he was in a kind of a media type place, and so he couldn't. He doesn't have the benefit of an hour. So that's why I wanted to give out some examples. I could give you 100 more examples of people that need sometimes to contact their local Social Security office and get things done. I can give you 100 more examples. So a lot of us will leave this world when we don't have time. I rely on my check every month. Yeah, millions of people are dependent on their Social Security benefits alone. And if it stops, if something happens, yeah. Amelia Earhart is, 300 years old. Yeah, so she might just be the one because she was lost in the Pacific, right? South Pacific somewhere. Yeah, who's the Teamsters guy. I can't remember his name right now. So he's missing too. So his is probably one of those Social Security numbers as well. So just can't remember his name right now. Anyway, I am a widow and receive spouse's Social Security. No other income. Do I still need to pay taxes? If you are no other income, I don't do taxes, IRS type taxes. I talk about Social Security. You probably won't have to pay Social Security taxes on your Social Security benefits. You're one of the 50% or so that don't pay taxes on their Social Security benefits. But I have in my description, I have the IRS website. A link in there that you click on the link and you go to the IRS website and you type in and you fill out the little information. It takes about 5 minutes and it tells you whether you even have to file. Every time I say that, people say, well, it's good to file anyway. That prevents someone else from filing in your name and getting some type of earned income tax credits or whatever the case may be. And it doesn't necessarily you might not have to file for the IRS federal taxes, but maybe your state. So I would reach out to someone that, your tax person, just to double check, because I didn't work for the IRS. The data reported in the media represent people who do not have a date of death associated with their record. That's it. So that's the O-ring of Social Security. Who would have thunk it? I'm 63 and want to collect Social Security at 67. With all that's going on, is it better to collect sooner? This is the question I get on a regular basis. And, people have asked me that for decades. When should I file? Should I do it at 62, 65, 67, 70, whatever the case may be? And I always tell them, hey, if you need the money, get your money now. So now, unless you're working, making over the annual earnings limit, the $23,400 and all the rest of it, if you got, people waiting for you to start your benefits, spouses or children, then it might be a good idea to get it now. How's your health, genes in your family, longevity, taxes? Can you invest that money? But now I've added this last one, politics. And it doesn't matter, this is not about the current administration. It's about all the administrations and all the politicians over the last 40 years who have failed to do their job and strengthen Social Security. So this is the result of it. So chickens have come home to roost. And it's been a long time PR campaign to attack Social Security and talk about, the trust fund being fake and money given out to Ukraine or, did people receiving benefits? It's a PR effort that's been going on for decades. And finally, they just might win. And we're already going to get cuts, because the trust fund is running out. It was meant to shore up the baby boomers, and because that's who put the money in there. So it's their money. They're getting it out, but that money is going to run out in 2034. But Social Security is still going to be here in the sense of, as long as, it's not given over to Wall Street. But if Social Security continues to exist, as long as people are paying FICA taxes, there's always going to be a Social Security. There's always going to be money coming in. That's why the whole, Elon Musk, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's not a Ponzi scheme because there's always going to be money coming in because it's mandatory. The problem is the cuts. How much money is going to come in? Is 80% going to come in? So therefore everybody has to take a 20% haircut, or 70% coming in, then everybody has to get a 30% haircut on their checks. So that's the issue. Social Security will always be here, but the problem is, the cuts, and people just can't handle, 20, 30% less. There are, there's so many people. If you are living on Social Security only, where does this saving come from? Yes. Yeah. I agree. Where can you get the money to get that buffer in case something happens with your Social Security check and it takes you a month or 2 months to get it fixed? I want to retire by September 2025. I will be 67, full retirement age. What is the possibility of my being able to depend on Social Security for retirement? Yeah, it really depends on, I like to think we're a participatory democracy and politicians listen to us and maybe we can reach out. But the institutional knowledge is pretty much gone. for Social Security. It, happened like that. I tried to contact some of my old coworkers and the end of last month, and I think there were parties going on, retirement parties going on, not very fun retirement parties, but kind of going away parties, I guess. Bon voyage, because so many people have decided to go ahead and bail from the agency, and they had going away parties on February 28th, the last day of their work. Yeah, that all that knowledge is gone, and it's going to take us years to build it back up. So, talked to a Social Security woman in Myrtle Beach who said she is part of the group that travels to offices all over the next week, and she'll be somewhere else. I said they should hire seniors to man the phones or windows. Yeah, but tell them what? Yeah. I mean, you got to have that knowledge, and someone's got to train these seniors or volunteers. It says, okay, I need a new Social Security card. Okay, you need these type of proofs, and you need access to the system. And in my office, before I worked for Social Security, after I was in the Marine Corps, I had my own little I was self-employed. So I, like the idea of free labor. So in my particular office, we had more senior volunteers as part of the AARP Senior Volunteer Program and NPW, non-paid work experience, veteran vocational rehab. We had more in my office than all of the other offices in the country combined, because I'm like, free labor, heck yeah. They were paid by the AARP, part of the Department of Labor, but that's probably gone now. And non-paid work experience, vocational rehab, yeah, that's probably on the chopping block as well. So, do they do background checks on employees? Yes, I did. Yeah, I always did. I mean, the FBI, yep, I have to go through the whole thing, and I did, background checks. Submitted the background checks, and yeah, some people, sorry, you didn't pass. So, and they're under close scrutiny. I've had to fire several Social Security employees for accessing records that they shouldn't have. So, I'm going to let some of them park on my property, but then they wanted everything. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's see. Just got back from my local Social Security office. I was told they plan on firing 7,000 workers, not from the local offices, but from the regional offices where the employees actually know something. Yeah, no, that's incorrect. There is no rhyme or reason to where these 7,000 people are coming from. They're coming from local offices. And they say, they always say, oh, it's from the overhead, but those are the people that support the front line, but the front line are disappearing too. Yeah. So I checked out the news today. I've already seen some offices being closed in rural America, and it's going to be even worse. And if your office, your local Social Security office in your small town stays open, it just might be that one guy that was hired 2 years ago that only knows welfare and doesn't know retirement or survivor benefits. And so I live on SSDI and SNAP. If I can't pay my mortgage, utilities, and credit cards, the credit union or HOA will foreclose. I have no car. I guess I'll be homeless. So what you do is, you reach out to your politicians and tell them this is completely unsatisfactory. As always, thank you for doing this for the American people. You're welcome. Thank you. I spent the first year or so doing this, just helping people with programs. How do you get survivor benefits? How do you get divorce spouse benefits? How do you get disability? How do you get benefits for children and all that stuff? So I was, answering all the questions. But as part of my mission in life, is my new mission in retirement is to help you claim and protect your Social Security. So I can help you get your Social Security benefits. Tell you how to navigate the bureaucracy. But if I also don't help, make sure it stays, then I think I've failed in the other part of that mission. So people that are 62 and 63 years old and are on Social Security disability, if Musk cuts them off of their Social Security disability, can they turn around and file for early retirement? Yes. So yeah, that's, in terms of fraud, waste, and abuse, obviously Social Security has fraud, waste, and abuse. Come on. Yeah, obviously. All you have to do is type in, Social Security fraud, in your Google in your particular area, and I'm sure you'll pop up someone, oh, local man is, put in jail or restitution or whatever for Social Security fraud. Social Security, my office prosecuted a whole bunch of people. Every office in the country prosecuted people for Social Security fraud all the time. But the idea now is to kind of do a shotgun approach rather than, a sniper approach and say, okay, this person is committing fraud, then we need to go after that person. Now it seems to be, well, we'll just kind of throw everybody in a bucket and let them fend for themselves, or as they say, reboot the system and then restart later. But yes, if for some reason your disability is cut off, and I'm sure there's two ways you can get your disability benefits stopped. One is if your disability improves, or you're able to go back to work even with a disability, and your work, there's trial work periods and all that kind of stuff. But yes, if you're at least 62 years old, then you can just go ahead and file for regular retirement benefits if your disability stops. Yes. But that requires a manual action. You can't really do that because you've already got a disability pending, in your file. So you would need to actually talk to someone. And Jimmy Hoffa, thank you. That was going to drive me crazy there. So thank you, Rusty. I appreciate it. That was on the back of my mind. I couldn't think of it. Why is it so hard to talk to a person, Social Security, Medicare, CMS processing center, who can explain billing and credit amounts after the approval of SSA 44 with credits for both Part B and D IRMA? So the SSA 44 is a life-changing event form. So this person, the truth is out there. From Area 51 here, perhaps. This person made over $100,000, $200,000 a year, so 2 years ago or so, and is getting that IRMA, income related monthly adjustment amount, paying an extra premium for Part B and an extra premium for Part D. But they had a life-changing event. They've since stopped working. They lost that income property, whatever the case may be, and they shouldn't be charged that extra Part B premium. And how hard it is to talk to a person? Well, it's been hard for a long time because Social Security, even before all of these cuts, Social Security is at a 50-year low in terms of staffing. 50 years. It's been so. I think now with these new cuts of staff, it's we're probably going back to 1935 numbers when the whole thing was started. Yeah. So how hard is it to talk to a person? Well, maybe the new Social Security office is your politician's local office. So call them up and say, hey, since Social Security isn't answering the phones, you're the new Social Security office. I'm sure that, sure they're going to cancel my channel because I said that. Anyway, some politician is going to get mad because they're going to get all these calls. Where's the source of this? Ed, oh my gosh. Is the Social Security bankrupting between 30 and 90 days from now, as some reports are stating? No. Again, Social Security, there's always going to get FICA money coming in. So in terms of the actual money, the money is there, at least until, 2034 or so. The 100%, after that, it's just going to be cut by, 20, 30%. But the money's there. The problem is accessing your money. So this is a method to prevent you from getting your money. So it's still there. And if you're currently receiving your, disability benefits or retirement benefits or survivor benefits, if everything continues to stay okay and nothing is wrong with your particular record, you don't change your direct deposit or, work report, or, someone doesn't use your Social Security number and do something, or then you're good. Your benefits will continue. But if you actually have to do something, as I mentioned some of the lists there, then that's the issue. Yes. Why is it taking those so long to figure out these 120-year-olds are actually getting paid benefits or not? And if they aren't, why isn't that being publicized? Yeah. The Commissioner of Social Security just came out and said, yeah, these people aren't getting paid. There's been many reports. The Government Accountability Office, the Office of Inspector General said, yes, these people aren't being paid. So it's just a club to beat Social Security with, and it's pretty effective. It is, 7,000 plus employees. The reason, again, The reason you aren't able to get in is, when you're on the phone for 5, 6, 7 hours, it was bad last week. It's going to be worse going forward. So where you're on the phone for 5 or 6 hours, the reason is there were some records, very small percentage, that the date of death was blank. When you get a overpayment, it's because the date of death on some of these people's records was incorrect. And did that lose money being the date of death incorrect? No, of course not. Of course not. Are there people? Here's how the word games are played. Are there people? Does Social Security pay people every year that are deceased? Yes, of course. If you pass away yesterday and your check is due today, the system doesn't activate that quickly. So your check is already essentially going out. Obviously it's direct, 99% of it's direct deposit, maybe a paper check. But yeah, your check is going out. So when your state, the coroner's office or whatever, sends that report to the Social Security Administration, and the Social Security Administration notifies the Department of Treasury, oh, that person passed away 4 days ago. And the Department of Treasury goes in there and then sucks out that last payment if that person is not entitled to that last payment. And so when politicians say Social Security pays dead people every single month, yeah, you're right. That in that particular case, yes, they do. It just, anybody that's ever had anybody pass away knows that's exactly what happens. And people come in here all the time. My husband, my wife passed away, and they stopped the last payment. That's why when you start your Social Security benefits, they always pay a month late. Your February check comes in March, your March check comes in April, your April check comes in May. So they can catch it at the inevitable end. We all have an inevitable end, and that's when they catch it. That's why they always pay it late, so they've got more time to stop that last payment, because you have to be alive during the entire month. So if you passed away on March 1st, you're entitled to the February check, which comes in March. So if you get your, March check, if you get your check on March 15th, that's for February. You're entitled to that. People say, my father passed away 2 weeks ago, March 1st, but he just got a direct deposit. Can you keep that? Yeah. But if he passed away on February 28th, then no, they're not entitled to those benefits because they had to be alive the entire month. And so, all right, let's see here. Did I answer that? Oh, okay. If there is a disruption of payments, do we still get payment later for the month missed? Yes, hopefully, yes. Anytime Social Security, does that, and they take, even that's the case now. I did a video that talks about protective filing and how to protect yourself. Yeah, if you file today and you want your retirement benefits or whatever to start, and then it takes them 2, 3, 4, 5 months to process it, yeah, they will give it. If you're entitled this month, yes, they will give you that back pay. Yes. But, so you got to have some savings to wait for that money. And unfortunately, a lot of people just can't wait for 1, 2, 3, 4 months for them to get their first check. So, wow, a lot of people became members today. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. You are awesome. Legman and Eunice and Magali, and thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see here. Thank you for the value information. Question: can someone collect Social Security and SSDI if a disability occurs when collecting Social Security? Also, does SSDI pay more than regular Social Security? Okay, you always collect the highest. But I think, hey, Ken, so what Ken is talking about is probably Social Security in the sense of regular retirement on your own record. No, you collect the highest. And SSDI is usually the highest. If you're filing earlier, let's say 62, you file for retirement benefits, then, they're reduced. But if you're filing for SSDI and you're approved at 62, your SSDI is basically your full benefit amount. But you cannot collect both retirement and SSDI. You can file for both at the same time. That's called a rib-dib, and some people do that because it takes months and months and months to get a decision back on your disability, and people can't wait that long. So they go ahead and file for retirement to start their month, benefits coming in while they're waiting for disability. All right, now let me answer that in another way. Is can you receive Social Security and disability? If that Social Security you're talking about are spouse benefits or surviving spouse benefits, then yes. So a lot of people on disability miss this. If you're receiving disability, if you're entitled to spouse benefits or divorce spouse benefits or surviving spouse benefits, you can get those on top of your disability. One offsets the other, but you can get those. But there's a lot of people out there that don't go get those extra benefits. And you're like, why wouldn't anybody go get those extra? If there's extra money, why would they not go get it? Because if you're like 62 years old and you're receiving disability and you're now eligible for an extra $300 a month from a spouse, people are saying, well, I don't want to get that because that'll stop my disability and therefore that'll stop my Medicare. That's not the case. Your Medicare, your disability will continue, therefore your Medicare will continue, and you'll just get those spouse benefits on top of it. So please make sure you reach out to, share, subscribe, like, and so more people get this information. It's going to be tough enough to get the benefits, people paid for. And on top of that, there's going to be such a lack of information out. There's always been a lack of information out there. So it's going to be even worse. So many people are going to be getting benefits, less benefits than they are entitled to earned. Could you do a quick estimate on how much FICA, Elon, and Warren would have to pay into the system if they busted the cap? Yeah, quite a bit. If you're making under $176,120, or $100, we pay FICA on every dollar we make. 6.2% for Social Security FICA. If you make over that, you're exempt. You don't have to pay FICA tax on any amount, FICA Social Security tax on any amount over $176,100. So, someone that makes $50,000, you pay 6.2% FICA for Social Security. If you make $5 million, I did the calculations one time, you pay 0.43%. So Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, they probably don't even pay FICA Social Security at all because they get their income from other places, so they don't contribute to the system. So he probably doesn't contribute to the system at all. So I'm not sure, so it doesn't, it doesn't matter to him. Everyone commenting here needs to call, email, text, smoke signal their Congress representatives with your question and concern. The pen is mightier than the sword. Yes, smoke signal. Yes, please. Would you please clarify for my friend? I hope she is watching. Her ex, Scott. Awesome. Thank you for looking out for those around you. Awesome. We'd love to hear that here. Her ex-spouse benefit will be reduced because she claimed hers at 62. She is now 68. I told her to tune in. Thank you. Okay. Hey, Scott's friend. Okay, so her ex-spouse benefits will be, yes, that is correct. So she is 68 years old. Well, she's 68. If she has to file for benefits on her own record first. It sounds like the ex-spouse is still out there, living. So if that's the case, she has to file on her own record first, and then she files for spouse benefits at the same time. There's a thing called deemed filing, where once you file for benefits on your own record, you have to file for any other current spouse, divorced spouse benefits at the same time. And yes, anytime you start benefits from Social Security early, those benefits are reduced. So because she started, it sounds like at 62, her own and spouse benefits, yeah, it would be reduced. So the only way it can be increased is obviously COLA, a cost of living, allowance, that adjustment, or because she's receiving spouse benefits, if her ex-spouse continues to work and pays into Social Security and gets their benefit amount recalculated up, then she will receive more money as well. Can they stop taking my money from my check for Social Security? Well, that's yeah, that's stop FICA. Well, that's the idea is to take money from your stop taking money from your check and kind of giving it over possibly to yeah, to Wall Street and have them do their thing, I guess. Can't we seriously consider massive lawsuits against Musk and his little pimple eaters Trump and the GOP? Yeah, participatory democracy. It's a beautiful thing. I've been getting Social Security direct deposit for years. It was reported that there's going to be an interruption anywhere from 30 to 90 days from now. Is this true or false? Yeah, so we must be late here. But yeah, as long as everything goes good, right, nothing is messed up in your particular record for you, you should be good. It's all the other people that we talked about yeah, might get an interruption. Donna, thank you for your help. $20 support. You guys are awesome. This is it's a regular. If you're new to my channel, this is just me and my son. He works behind the scenes with all technology and all that stuff. And then we've got Chapter Medicare that we have partnered that helps you out with all things Medicare. This is also Medicare open enrollment season too. So if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, I always recommend Medicare Supplement, a Plan N or a G or F if you can get it. If you've got the budget, to get that premium, always recommend that one first. But a lot of people get the Medicare Advantage plans, and you just have to. It takes more work, and this is the time to check your Medicare Advantage plan. So January, February, March. If you've got the wrong plan, if you forgot to check your plan, you can reach out to Chapter and they can, go through your plan, see what's available in your area, give you your options, 100% free. And if they find something better for you, then they'll get you enrolled in that plan, and your new plan will start April 1st. If they can't find anything better for you, then they'll just say bye. We'll see you maybe next year. And you could also switch to Medicare Supplement. You can get out of your Medicare Advantage and switch to go back to original Medicare and get a Medicare Supplement plan. But probably, it depends on your state. You'll probably have to go through health underwriting. So, Jen, called Chapter today. Great help. Turned 65 this month. Thanks for all your help. Awesome. So, yeah, if you're new to Medicare, if you're just turning 65, you get your Part A, Part B, and then you check out a supplement, Medicare Advantage, get your, Part D and all that all set up. Remember, don't waste the money, the $185, if you currently have health insurance from work. If you have health insurance from current work, yours or your spouse's, and your employer has 20 or more employees, you can refuse Part B. How it works is, if you're currently receiving Social Security benefits and you're approaching 65, Medicare automatically sends you your, Medicare Part A and Part B card. If you have health insurance from current work, yours or your spouse's, 20 or more employees, then you just refuse Part B. And then, 5 years, 10 years later, then you go ahead and sign up for, Part B at that time. And there's no penalty whatsoever. So yeah, why waste the $185 if you already have? It has to be current work. It can't be a retirement plan. It can't be the Affordable Care Act, marketplace insurance. It can't be COBRA. It has to be through current, credible coverage. So. Okay, yeah, I've already answered that. Let's see. The other day, you explained that I would have to apply for my own Social Security at 62 before I apply for my husband's. I wanted to apply at 67. Yeah, yes. If you want to file for benefits on your spouse's record, you have to file for benefits on your own if your spouse is still alive. For survivor benefits, you can file for survivor benefits and not touch yours, or file for benefits on your record and not touch survivor benefits till later. But it sounds like your husband is out there, luckily alive and kicking. And so, yeah, if you want to apply at 67, then you apply for benefits on your own record at 67, and then for benefits on his record right after that. Got my appointment on the phone, and office got in. Thank you for all your help. We'll start in June 2025. Awesome. Oh, yes. Good. Thank you for that reminder. So people that have already scheduled an appointment with the Social Security, yeah, I mean, my office, we still on a daily basis, assign appointments, but The appointment calendar in the particular offices throughout the country, 1,200 offices, they open those appointments a month or 2 months or 3 months in advance. And so 2 or 3 months ago, when they opened those appointments for you to, get an appointment, at that time they had X amount of staff. Now, those people are gone. So I think a lot of people are going to, yeah, um, they're not going to get a call. Oh, I was supposed to go to a call in mid-March at 9 o'clock, and nobody called. Well, yeah, there's that person that was assigned that appointment is gone, and there's nobody else to take up the slack. Or if they do call you, it might be someone that just got out of class last month, and yeah, so. I just bought a fairly reliable van and will be moving into town by the river. Even though I'm 3, won't be able to afford rent anymore. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Some people, like that nomadic life, but it doesn't sound like that was necessarily a conscious decision to enjoy the nomadic life. Can anybody tell me what TRICARE for Life covers? Pretty much everything. So I would reach out to TRICARE for Life on that one rather than doing it here. One good thing that Medicare has, Medicare itself, is there's an app on, you go to Medicare.gov, and there's an app, and you can download it on your phone, and it tells you what Medicare covers. So you type in whatever issue you have, and it tells you, yes, that's covered by A, that's covered by B, or how much is it, 80%, and yeah, so it's pretty good. Take and Took, always looking out. 3,000 watching, but only 668 upvotes. Come on, people. This is how we teach this crazy AI, YouTube or whatever algorithm, that this information needs to get out there, and more people need to, and we need to help more people. So yeah, if you could like and subscribe and all that good stuff, I'd appreciate it. Social Security is act of God at this point, taking after 7,000 cuts. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Mr. Mom, married 13 years, never remarried after Social Security at 62. Spouse is 7 years younger and turned 62 this year. If I claim spousal benefits when she turned 62, will that be reduced? No, it's not based on how old she is. It's based on how old you are. So if you are your full retirement age, you'll get 50% of her full benefit amount. And remember, you have to file for benefits on your own first. So. I will need to do a change my address in May. Can I do that online? Yes. Yep. And make sure you do it 100% perfect, because if you miss something, or, Social Security sends you a letter and it doesn't get delivered or something, then benefits might stop, and then getting restarted it again, you'll need to talk to a human being, and there's no more, of those species around Social Security offices, in particular Social Security office. What do they want with our years of hard work to reach this point? Yeah. So there's in the description of my YouTube channel, it's the playbook that was written in the 1980s, and it's all coming to fruition. The truth never comes out because it's putting on its shoes while the lie has run around the world a million times. Yes. Let's see. I've paid in from the start. I receive it now, but the damnest thing is it's not enough to live on nearly $1,300 a month. Add another 15 to it, which shouldn't have even be an issue. Had plenty of time. I've done this video several times. It's called Living on Social Security Alone. So go back through. I've done over 1,000 videos, but the last time I did it was about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago. It says Living on Social Security Alone. And I go through about 50 different programs that, might be able to help you out. Anybody that is struggling, make sure you watch that video. The first one I did like that was about a year ago, and that's when I first started with YouTube, and my introduction went on and on and on. So I apologize for that. So just hit fast forward and get through the ignoring introduction part. 5 to 6 hours is nothing. It took 3 years to get my survivor benefits. Wow. That's unacceptable. Egley became a Millburst. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see. Um, let's see what else. When you initially sign up to receive Social Security, how long would it take to kick in because of all the cuts? It really depends if we're just talking to regular retirement benefits and your earnings record is all correct, you were born in the United States, or if you were naturalized, you updated your citizenship and all that kind of stuff, then you probably won't need a birth certificate. If you need a birth certificate, or some other type of proof that Social Security needs, then you need to talk to a human being, and hopefully there's one available in your office. But if you file online and there's no issues and everything is 100% good, then it shouldn't take too long. Again, but all bets are off. It really depends on what office you're in, because those claims still have to be reviewed. And then if there's nobody on the other side in your local office, because there's nobody in the region, because they're shutting down the regional offices that used to do those reviews, then yeah. Super chat, appreciation, dedication, $10. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Trump and Musk have been checking the active Social Security accounts and finding which are deceased. I'm sure they access death certificate database nationwide and county recorders. Yeah, those already been found. It's the people that don't have a death certificate that didn't pass away, under the purview of your state coroner's office and stuff like that. So yeah, those are easy. Yeah, that's not going to help. It's the people that passed away overseas or missing in action or disappearing, or that one time you and your brother went into the Social Security Administration in 1973 and got a Social Security number, and they got mixed up, and then they put another one in. They threw it away, but it was still in the system, and those it's the old paper system. Mistakes happen, and that Social Security number is still out there, and kind of hanging out. There's no money going out, but that Social Security number is just kind of hanging out there, and it might actually belong to an actual person, but it might not belong. But it doesn't matter because it's not in pay status, and that's the issue, and that's why people are going to suffer because of that not being filled out. So yeah. Anyway. Let's see what else we got. How does a dead person use their last check? If they're dead. Yeah, they don't. Yeah. So if they're actually deceased, then they don't get their last check. Yeah, that's one of the senator that's really big on this, that loves to use this as a club to beat up Social Security. He uses that all the time. These people cash the checks. Well, I mean, cashing checks, if the check is direct deposited, I guess he's considering that as a cashing a check. Most checks are direct deposited nowadays. So, here's a suggestion. Everyone should make a video of them saying, my name is fill in the blank. I'm a real person. I'm a real American citizen. So Musk and Trump do not steal my Social Security. Yeah. Yeah. If you want to do that, I'd be more than happy to pop it up on my channel. What happens if my full retirement age isn't until August 2026 when I plan on filing for benefits? Would it be prudent to apply now, knowing it will take months? Well, you can't apply. If you want your benefits to start now or in the next 3 months, then you can do that. But if you want to apply now for August 2020, you can't do it. Social Security can only take a claim 3 months in advance, maybe 3 months and a few days, but yeah, they can't take it that far in advance. All right. We are over an hour, and sorry for the kind of the depressing one, but yeah, please reach out to your politicians and reach out to the people around you and kind of prepare them if it looks like they're going to be filing for any type of benefits or anything. And, share this video, subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff. All right, y'all take care. Have a beautiful day and take care of each other.